Assalamu alaikum students, this is Farwa Batul, your O-level computer science instructor, and welcome to another video of chapter number 8 programming. In this video we are going to do activity 8.2a. We have already covered the topic of input and output, and in this activity we will see that how we can store our different inputs into the desired data type. So look over here. In the previous video, I told you that whenever our user gives us the input, then this is treated as a string value and we have to convert it into our desired data type by doing data parsing. So we will see this in detail in this video. Look over the activity 8.2a. Here you can see that in the high level programming language that your school has chosen to use, write expressions that would store user input as the data types represented by the following. So let me just quickly tell you the data types. If it is a number, then it will be an integer data type. Write down integer. If it is a decimal number, it will be a real, float, or double data type that stores the decimal value. Then X, if there is one character only, it's a char data type. If there is X marks the spot, this is your string data type. And this one, if you are entering true or false as your data, then this is going to be a Boolean data type. So once we are done with this, now let me quickly move towards Intel IG in order to demonstrate you the practical example of how you can do it in terms of programming. Here I am working on Java. So look over here. This is my main class. In the main class, I have already imported the library that is java.util.scanner. This is the library that allows you to take the input from the user. So by making an object of a scanner class. So look over here. Inside your main class, there is your line of code to take an input of an integer value. So look over here. Oh, sorry. It's normally we are taking it as string input. So it's something an input is going to store in a string. So look over the code. Scanner opt equals to no scanner system.in. The first line is basically in order to make an object of the scanner class, that object is going to take the the input from the user. So that's why you are creating this object of the scanner class. And look over here, you have using, you are going to use system.in inside when you are making a new object for your class. So system.in is basically an input statement in order to get the input from the user. Now the next line is system.out.println. This statement is basically to take to tell the user what he has to enter, or it is just a display message that is going to help the user in order to enter the data that is required. So you can simply see that I have written please enter a string here. This can be your message, depends upon your requirement. Now the next thing is string. I have declared a variable string which has a name my input equals. In order to store your input value into your variable my input, you have to call a method, and this method must convert the input value into the desired data type. Yes, opt.nextLine. NextLine is a method that converts your input data into a string value, and then it will store it into the variable my input. The next thing is you can make this sure, you can just confirm that whether your data is being entered in the variable or not by displaying your variable's value as an output. So look at the fourth line, system.out.println. I am showing here my string value equals, and you can see that I have inserted here or written here the variable name that is my input. Remember, when you are writing something in quotations, it will be printed as it is, and when you are writing a variable name outside quotations, then the value of that variable will be displayed to you. So this is your line of code. Now let me quickly modify this according to my activity 8.2a. So the first value the user will enter is 12, which is an integer value. So you have to change your message first. In the second line, instead of writing please enter a string, you must tell the user to write an integer value. Okay. Next thing is, your variable must be an integer in order to store the value of an integer input. So we will declare an integer my input, and here the method that you need to use with the object scanner class object is next integer. Next integer is a method that converts your input value into an integer. So it's next int. Now, what opt.nextInt, what this method is going to do for you, it is going to convert your string input data into an integer value, and then it will store it in my input. Now, system.out.println, here you must change your message. The integer value equals. You will print the value of the variable, so to make sure that whether the value is being stored or not. So let me just quickly do it here. The integer value equals, and then you will print the value of your integer my input. Let me just quickly run this, and remember, in your activity the integer to be entered is 12. So we will do it. Okay, look at, here we go, look at down. This is the result of your program. It is asking me please enter an integer. Sorry, it must be enter an integer. Okay, let's just leave it. Now let me just quickly write down 12, and then I will press enter. When I press enter, you can simply see that my integer value equals to 12 is being displayed, which proves that this 12 value is being inserted in the integer named variable named my input. So we are done with this. The second thing is to store a value that is real, 12.00. So you just need to make a little changes here. The display message will be insert a decimal number. Then next, you must specify your variable as a double or a float value. Double can hold a more bigger number than real data type. So I'm just declaring a double variable, and here you must change your method that converts your input into double. So it will be next double. This method with the object of a scanner class is going to convert your input value into double, and then it will store it in the variable. The final thing is to change your output here, my decimal number or my decimal value equals. Now here you will see that whether the decimal value is being inserted in the variable my input or not. Let me quickly run this program. Remember, the value that you have to insert for activity 8.2a is 12.00. So let me just write down 12.00. We will press enter. Now you can simply see that the decimal value equals 12.0. Since 12.00 and 12.0 is same, so this is showing 12.0, which basically tells us that yes, your decimal value is being inserted in your variable my input, that is a double data type. Now let me change it for the third input. The third input in your activity is a character. So you just write down here. Please enter a character. And then in the next line, you have to declare a variable that must be char. Oh, let me just use a small char. Now here what you have to do, this is not next double that is going to help you to convert your character. Now you have to use next with another method, that is dot char at. And here you will specify your index. For the first character, it must be index 0 that you will be printing. So there is no next char in Java. If you want to print or display your character value, you must use char at and provide the index 0, that is your first character that the user has entered. Now just change the output message, my character value equals, and then we will see that whether it will be stored in my input or not. Let me quickly run this. The character to be entered is X, a capital X. So look over here, caps lock on, write down X, now press enter. You can simply see that my character value equals to X, which means that X is being stored in my input variable. Now let's do for the next one, that is a string value. It is very simple. You have to use, first do the changes in your output message, then the variable must be a string in order to take an input as a string, and here the method that is to be used with the scanner object is next line, that takes your input and then stores it in my input variable. Now let's just quickly change our display message, my string value, and then we will print the value of my input. Let's quickly run this. It will be X spots. Let me just see what you have to enter. Okay, so in the activity, the string that is mentioned is X marks the spot. Okay, now we will press enter. Now you can see my string value equals X marks the spot. So this is being stored in your variable my input with a data type string. Now the final is your Boolean value. Let's do the changes for Boolean. Okay, now string input must be Boolean my input. It must be a Boolean variable. Okay. Next, the method must be next Boolean. Oh, sorry for this. Let's go here. B double O. Yeah, it's next Boolean. Now, quickly change the display message at the bottom. My Boolean value. Remember, you can enter true or false if the data is Boolean. Now we will run the program, and let me just quickly write down true as my input value to be stored in the variable my input. So it is true, true. Let's press enter. Look at this, my Boolean variable equals to true. So true is being stored in the variable my input. This is how you can convert the input values into your desired data type, and then you can store it in a variable with the same data type. I hope that things are clear to you. If you have any question, you can comment below. In the next video, we will be coming up with a very important topic. Bye bye.